Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bodied, a Cloud9 fancast. I am your host, as always, Havokpus, and I'm joined by Frozencreek this week. Hooray!
Yay, we're back to regular programming, to our scheduled regular programming, recording on Wednesday night. So, as is a common occurrence, news will come out Wednesday at 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as soon as we finish recording,
Yeah,
just like last
C9,
week.
C9, C9 messed me up really bad because I was like doing the episode last week by myself because we were busy, and I was like, oh well, there's they did a cryptic tweet and people are saying we're gonna get a Dota team. Wonder when this is gonna come out, and literally like that evening when I was finished. Or like the next day, they're like, "Hey guys, we got a Dota team." I was, I was, I felt so bad because they've done this to me multiple times before, and they've scooped me frozen.
Yes, but it was for a good reason, I guess. It's our our biannual, meaning every other year. I'm not sure if biannual is every other year or twice a year, but our
I think it's one of those
biannual
cases
Dota
where it can be
team.
both.
Yeah, so our biannual Dota team, which is what, our third or fourth Dota team in 6 years or something
I
like
think it's
that.
our fourth.
Okay, well, we sign up for 2 months and then I drop them immediately after the international. So I'm assuming that's what it is, but it's still cool because we did not have a Dota team last year.
Yeah, according to the press release, it looks like the team will be playing in the Southeast Asia region, at least for now. But eventually, they will be representing North America in future events. Let me just break down the roster real quick. We got Skem, VT Faded, Misery, Flea, and Pylai Die, who people may recognize as I guess like a mainstay of the Cloud9 Dota, because we can't seem to get rid of him. Every time we make a Dota team, he has to be uh on that team.
Yeah. Um I have one complaint about the press release. I actually didn't realize they put out press releases on the website for some reason. But whoever put the pull-out quotes in light blue type is a monster. You can't even. I mean, I have decent eyesight with my contacts in, and I can barely read what the quotes are because it's light blue type
You
over
gotta go
white.
with the color brand.
Yeah, but you can use dark blue
True.
or put it or do a light white over a black background. It it's almost illegible right now.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean I can read it, but I will say that it is very light. Um,
It's not ideal.
no, like they used a darker color at the top for their header and for the
Yeah,
title. So
yeah, exactly.
it's weird that they didn't use that for the same thing to keep everything like color consistent because it feels very like kind of off.
All right, but yeah, I digress. So yeah, it is good news, I guess.
Yeah,
Misery is apparently a Cloud9 is formerly a Cloud9 player from the International in 2016.
yeah. I mean, I'm just excited that we have a Dota team. I think that as an organization who is as old and as revered as Cloud9, I think that having a Dota 2 team is just kind of something that needs to happen. Like Dota 2 is a huge staple in esports, and I think that it feels kind of criminal that C9 didn't have like a Dota 2 team. So I'm really excited that we have one, and we can hopefully do okay. I know nothing of Dota in our players, but hopefully they don't like get creamed every match like that one team we had that was full of like European players.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that also, but honestly, our Dota teams have not lasted long, so it's hard to quite piece together what it is like. But I feel like it's a good statement of intent. I don't actually know how good they are, so
Yeah.
I can't add much, but it feels like a good statement of intent because they're signing them a lot earlier than they signed their other teams. The
Yeah, yeah,
international.
I think that isn't the international like in like August or something, or like September, like towards the end of the year.
I don't think it's this early, so I think it's a good statement of intent that it's before the international. I mean, I could look
Right.
it up really quick.
Okay. Well, I'm super excited. And I know a lot of other people are super excited. So fourth or fifth time's the
June.
charm.
Oh, the 2018 tournament was June to August.
Okay.
It's over a month long. Jesus. So it's good
Yeah.
somewhere around that time.
Yeah. We don't have any. I don't have any news about when they're going to be playing next, but I'll definitely keep an eye out so we can tune in and maybe get some match results going. But I guess moving on, I guess just a quick shout out to our Team Fortress player JSchritte. He recently got married. I know that's very inconsequential news, but I just wanted to give a shout out to him. It's very nice. He's getting married to someone, and that's always a huge deal. So congratulations! Yay!
Yep, pretty cool. And did you mean TFT or Team Fortress?
TFT,
Or sorry, Team Fight Tactics or Team Fortress?
Team Fight Tactics.
Okay, yeah. Team Fight Tactics. I don't know how you can be a Team Fight Tactics professional and still have time for a girlfriend. So
It seems
bad move, JSchritte. Just kidding, but congratulations either way.
yes. Also, we have some stuff happening. I guess before we get to that, there's something that I actually forgot to write down. But Cloud9 is going to be a part of a new CS:GO league, and I had mentioned it a bit last episode, and I forgot to write it down in our planning thing, but I did want to talk about it. Oh man, I forgot the name of it. It's okay. It's Flashpoint, and I believe this is the site um league that was being teased by Thorin and a few other people for a while. But it seems, at least from everything that's being said, it's like a new CS:GO league that is built by teams and esports organizations specifically for esports organizations. So it is probably going to be more of like a franchise sort of deal, and it's probably going to maybe be a bit more favorable to organizations and not be as harsh as other events where you have to like get an invitation or go through like this whole like qualifier process to even go, and then you're there, and then your team doesn't perform well, so you get knocked out within like the first round or two, and then it feels kind of pointless. So it's very interesting. I'm actually kind of excited for it, just to see if it can maybe change kind of the landscape of Counter Strike and maybe make it a bit more of a profitable game.
Yeah, I actually don't know much about it. That
I
was
don't know
not
much
one thing
either.
I paid attention to.
They
But
tweeted something out about it like literally like this afternoon.
oh, okay, I guess at the end of the day, it's more stage time for our new team who needs it. So
Yeah, but I think
anything is
it's
good.
mostly good just from an organizational point of view, because Dan Fiden did do that whole interview, and he said like we're constantly losing money on Counter Strike rather than getting a profit. So hopefully this can kind of reverse out a little bit and make our Counter Strike team actually profitable, rather than just we're losing all this money having to like shuttle them to different countries and do these like different events, just for them. It seems like, at least from my point of view, that for Counter Strike, if you're not ending up in like the top team, or at least like the top four at every event you go to, it seems very hard to keep a Counter Strike team like profitable.
Yeah, which is not ideal, because I can't imagine those teams that are finishing top 4 at most events are making a profit, or much of a profit, because they have to pay their their players better too.
Yeah, you have to play like the players, and you probably have to have like a bunch of travel fees. And I can only imagine what else, like hotels and all that sort of stuff, just to kind of keep your team going when you're competing and when you're not competing. So there definitely needs to be a change in the landscape, at least in my opinion. So hopefully this can do that.
Yeah, uh, agreed, and at least go towards a more equitable future where more teams can make money.
For sure, for sure.
Because that's ideally how it would be. Because that's how we get our Counter-Strike teams.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll report more on that. I just wanted to mention that because I did think it was really interesting. And it was kind of breaking news. But moving on, Rocket League and Overwatch League start this weekend, so that should be super fun. I don't know much about Rocket League. I know if you are a London Spitfire fan, you can catch London's matches Saturday and Sunday. Saturday they're playing against New York Excelsior at 3 p.m. Eastern, and then on Sunday we'll be playing against Paris at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, we haven't talked any about Overwatch League yet. So, what do you think of the whole hero locking thing?
Yeah, that was something that had, I think, passed between when I had recorded last.
I
That's
read
a
about it
really
today.
yeah. That's
Are
something that
you
I
are you not eligible enough to explain it, or should I look it up to make sure I get it right?
believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe how it functions is they will take the data from, I believe, the past like 2 weeks, and then they will ban out heroes that have like the highest percentage of play rate from like each role, I think. Or like
Yeah,
two heroes from each role. I think they will ban out, and it will be on kind of like a two
it's
week rotation.
yeah, it's one tank, one support, and two DPS, I believe.
Okay, yes, that's what it is. Um, it seems like an all right middle ground instead of just implementing like a whole pick and ban system. But I think that sounds a bit too difficult to really juggle with because it seems like you're still not giving teams enough time to practice because you're basically like, okay, so you play a match, right? So London plays this weekend. They don't play next until the 23rd against the Washington Justice. So you have to do your matches this week. I would assume like next week probably you would have to fly to Washington, DC to you know to play them. So that travel would probably take a few days, and then you have like a week of scrims or something. So I think from a time perspective, it may just not be giving teams enough time to prepare, especially if it's like you have matches 1 week and then the very next week is another set of matches. So you have to travel really quick and then get ready. And then also figure out, okay, these heroes are off the table. Quickly incorporate that into your strategy. It seems like it's just not enough to really play into a lot of teams' favors.
Yeah, it kind of seems like a last ditch effort to control the meta, because I don't know if there's any other games that just ban out heroes or champions or whatever just based on their popularity, as opposed to like
No,
a league where you got specific bans. Like,
yeah. I think
it's kind
honestly,
of
I think
weird.
it's just it's literally because Blizzard has painted themselves into a corner in terms of how they have balanced the game up until now. Um, and this is kind of a way for them to pseudo balance the game without having to directly make changes. And I think they're also probably more focused on making Overwatch 2 a more balanced environment. So they're probably not putting as much effort into balancing Overwatch 1.
Which is kind
So
of wild still.
yeah, I think that Blizzard has. I think honestly, the whole Overwatch 2 thing, and this is a tangent, but I think Overwatch 2 was probably needed because they've looked at their game and they said, we cannot balance this properly. We have made it literally impossible to where you can make every like hero selection or combination viable. And it's literal like look at the GOATS meta. It was literally the most viable and competitive strategy for months and patches after it had been like, kind of prominent. And they had to make such drastic changes, and the drastic changes didn't really help anything. It it just kind of like changed it to where, okay, this one composition is better now, and it's like, oh, we'll just do May Reaper, and that was the thing forever. And I think they have messed up how they bounce the game so much they need to just do a hard reset.
Yeah, and I guess I do feel like Overwatch 2 offers a good opportunity for that, but it kind of sets the Overwatch League back because it seems they might have to learn not an entirely new game, but like an entirely new setup once this new game comes out.
Yeah, and it just makes everything difficult. I would imagine they would not have to play Overwatch 2 until the next season or something. Like a whole season afterwards. I could not imagine them like finishing like 1 week and then the next week's like, okay, here's where Overwatch 2 starts. And then just expecting everyone to be ready. That seems very unfair to teams, but I wouldn't be surprised considering how Blizzard has handled Overwatch related matters in the past.
True. But yeah, I think you pretty much included all my thoughts on that. But yeah, come support our new boys this weekend. We have the two games, like you said, on Saturday and Sunday. They're being played in New York, so if you are in New York, hit it up. I can find out how much tickets are right now, I think.
Well, while you're doing that, I will say I did check the subreddit recently, and it looks like the team, at least through the grapevine, the team is actually doing a bit better in scrims than originally was going on. So that's good to hear. The coaches and a few players they released like an interview video, and the theme basically from a Gape basically was that he wanted players that would come together as a team and then elevate each other as a team rather than what we had in the past where the individual was greater than the team kind of aspect. So it seems like they went in a really good direction with these players. I'm a bit concerned just with them being really green T2 and T3 players, but I think as a whole I'm excited. We kind of have a rough debut because we're gonna have to be going up against New York and Paris in our first week of play.
Yeah, not
So
ideal.
it's not ideal, but I think that at least like you can get the really tough losses out of your system like right away. You don't have to worry about like, oh man, we're gonna go up against New York. I hope we can do good. Just get these matches out of the way. Really find out what you're doing wrong, and where you can and what you did right, and course correct. And we don't play until after this weekend. We don't play till the 23rd. So they have a good deal of practice to get ready until the next match. So I'm excited. I'm hoping we don't at least look god awful and completely terrible.
Oh yeah, and I did look at tickets. It looks like there's only possibly single day Friday or Sunday tickets available, and the cheapest are $78, which is kind of a lot to me.
It, I mean that probably sounds like just your average sporting event. I would wager.
I mean, I might have gotten a small discount, but I think I paid $70 for 2 tickets for the LCS finals
Okay,
total.
that's a good. That's
So
a
I
good
think I
point.
ended up paying $150 for 4 tickets over both days.
Mm,
Two tickets each day.
right.
But also that venue was massive compared to.
Right. True.
So maybe that's part of it. Either way, if you're an engineer with $2,500 to drop on comic books, then $12,000 to drop on comic
Hey,
books.
my collection
Then,
isn't even done yet. I haven't
then
even finished. That's like half.
then this might be your type of event.
True. But
Boom roasted.
but anyway, yeah, go support our team. I believe also Rocket League plays. I believe it's this Saturday at like 4 p.m. Eastern, I think. As well. So definitely we got a bunch going this weekend. So support Cloud9 as much as you can. Watch some stuff, enjoy yourself. But I guess we should just move on to League of Legends if you don't have anything else.
Nope, that's fine. We'll start in
Okay.
Academy, I guess. Lead us off.
Yeah, they went. So Academy went 1-1. They played against FlyQuest Academy and Immortals Academy. And what are your impressions of this Academy team? Because I have very mixed feelings. Obviously, it's not going to be as strong as like previous Academy rosters because of we don't have like Svenskeren subbing in for the team or whatever, right? But
yeah, I mean, this is certainly going back to more of a rookie team. Fudge, I think he's new to the scene. Palafox has only played Academy.
yeah, Fudge is relatively new.
I guess Inori is not new. Diamond is relatively new.
Inori did take a big break though. Like Diamond, like if you look at this team, pretty much every player, I think I would say except for King and Diamond, because King was a very large player in OC for a while. And I think King is experienced because King has been to Worlds a few times before. So King and Diamond are probably the most experienced, I guess, in terms of playing in any kind of competitive setting. But Fudge I think is relatively new to playing professionally. Inori took like a massive break from when he was on Phoenix One. After that whole thing happened, he didn't play for a while. And Palafox is fairly new as well. So it's kind of a green team. They definitely seem to have some issues in terms of playing around Inori and just like decision making, it looks like.
Yeah. I do feel like that there is some decent talent in Academy this year that probably shouldn't be in there. But this also certainly feels like there's not a lot of LCS potential on the squad. I mean, Inori could fit into an LCS team possibly. King maybe, but he takes an import slot then.
Yeah, I would say probably Diamond is probably, at least right now, the only one that I could see, at least from Cloud9 Academy, moving up to an LCS spot. Like Dignitas Academy, that's essentially a whole nother LCS team, and it's kind of criminal that they're allowed to do that.
I mean, can a Cloud9 fan really say that after what they pulled a couple years ago?
No, I remember the Cloud9 Challengers thing. I remember everyone being super pissed. So, granted,
rightly pissed about it. So, who among us can talk can talk shit about that?
Exactly. What was the roster again? Was it like Balls?
I think it was Balls. High was on that team, right?
No, okay. I remember.
Contracts was jungler. Balls,
yeah.
Contracts, High.
And then Alltech and Lemonation.
Yeah, which is that's
It's and they're playing against like other challenger teams with players that like had never played before, like in a highly competitive setting. So we're just steamrolling through everyone.
Yeah, that was a completely different situation because it's probably worse than what Dig is doing.
True.
Yeah, because at least all their players suck.
Yeah, I can I can definitely bow down on that one. But yeah, Academy's in a weird spot because you see all these you have a lot of players that are capable of playing in the LCS, but then you have certain teams that have like a mid laner or a player and just think like why are they playing and not like Demonte, for example? If you look at like Immortals or 100 Thieves, after especially after like 2 weeks of play, can you really tell me that Ica is a better choice over Demonte, or is Racoma really a better choice over Demonte? You know, in those instances, it just feels really weird that Academy has a lot of good talent, but it was also passed over for like inferior, like imported players almost.
Yeah, I agree. And at the end of the day, Academy is more about learning the game than winning games. Um,
Yes, very
yeah,
true.
yeah. That's where the players are supposed to learn how to play up the game professionally, not come in and play solo queue. It's an organized environment, which is new for quite a lot of players. So
Yeah, I do agree. That's 100% true. Winning an academy is not as important. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say on that. That's 100% true.
yeah, so I mean, I do prefer to see them win, but I would also like to see some development from some of the players, like King getting um our residency here would be good for him because I'm sure there are some teams who would be interested in playing in ADC. So it is okay. I'm fine with it overall. So
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about our LCS performance last week because it was another 2-0 week from the boys. We played against Immortals and 100 Thieves. What were your impressions, I guess, on the team's performance?
my biggest complaint is that we didn't finish the games fast enough. That's literally all I have because we have looked a lot better than anybody else so far this year.
I agree. I think that in terms of team coordination and cohesion and consistency, C9 looks about the best team right now. I would say I'd probably bunch in like Dignitas, Team Liquid, and like FlyQuest is like a cut below Cloud9. But right now, Cloud9 looks about the best team there. That we did make a few mistakes in each of those matches, but I think that mistakes are going to happen. Reaper was saying, I think it was in a vlog post that he posted, or it was maybe in
One
one of
of
the
his
on
videos.
Cloud9 episodes.
Yeah.
But he basically said, don't go into the mindset thinking you can't make any mistakes because that's very unhealthy. You know, he completely expects players to make mistakes on stage, and I think the players are aware of that. And it's really more of how you go with after you make the mistake. Do you freak out until and lose the game, or do you recenter yourself and play like play better because you made the mistake? And it looks like that's what the team has been doing. I really want to commend Blabber and Niski just for their restraint. Actually, the you know the team as a whole, but them especially, they have shown a good amount of aggression, but not enough to where it looks like they're just flying in and suiciding all the time. It looks like when they make an aggressive play, it's one that is calculated and one that the team is prepared for beforehand, so everyone can get positioned and back each other up as the play happens, rather than Blabber just like, I'm gonna go in, and everyone's like, wait, no.
Yeah, I do like that about the performance. Blabber seems to be playing within himself a lot now, and not playing like the psycho blabberfish that we saw at points in time in the past. And I think the academy and times on the bench have done him a lot of good because he's still really young. So it's not like he didn't have a reason to do stupid stuff and make mistakes. But again, yeah, it's it's more important to try something and fail and make a mistake than it is to just try and play a perfect game. Like as as you were saying, there's a big difference between Cloud9 and another team, the talent suppressing machine, and it really shows in how the teams develop talent and perform on stage.
Yeah, I think also just Blabber being the starter helps tremendously because he's no longer having to split time with Svenskeren. So he is having a lot more time to make those mistakes and learn from those mistakes and solely be coached up by Reaper and the rest of the coaching staff. So I think he's been able to grow a lot in a very short amount of time, which is very impressive from a playing, from just an observational point of view. Um, and I guess piggybacking off of what you said about TSM, Sven currently is deathless. After 4 games, he's had a very impressive KDA. He looks like to be just an incredible team player, and I think him and probably to a larger point, Vulcan has really unlocked our playing potential because now we can play through bot lane. We have a lane that isn't going negative at 10 or 15 minutes in terms of gold, and we're able to make more plays, I think, because of our bot lane being a bit more improved and having a different dynamic than we did before.
Yeah, I feel like our bot lane might be our top performers so far this split, but that is tough to say.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, like if you were to build an all LCS team right now, I think it would be 3 to 4 Cloud9 players.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
I
2
think
of
I
them
think everyone.
Sven and Vulcan.
Yeah, I think everyone's been performing really well, but I think the bot lane's definitely been a point of, a big driver behind that, just for how they've been playing, in and out of lane. And I think that, it's great that we have them there, and I'm really excited to see what they can do going into the future weeks.
Yeah, so did you have any highlights from this weekend?
Not really. I don't really have a lot of highlights. It's mostly just all around team play. I think I guess that solo kill that Niski got on his LeBlanc was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Or
and also
it
or no,
was
on his Morgana, he got the solo kill on them.
or yeah, and then he got a solo kill on Sunday. It was into the Yasuo. It was the Pantheon.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, those solo kills were really good.
Yeah. He looked like a monster in mid lane.
But I can't I don't really have a lot of notes on last week because they were pretty decisive stomps. If you don't have anything, we could probably talk about this weekend's matches.
Yeah, I just had one thing I wanted to mention. I really thought our invade on Saturday against Immortals was really good. Our level 1 invade with Tom Kench. Super
Oh
OP,
yeah, that was really.
super OP apparently. So that was cool to see. Before we talk about this week's matches, we should do another
Oh,
ranking
another power ranking.
of the good, the bad, the ugly, and the Dignitas.
Okay.
I think for me, right now the only good team is Cloud9.
I would bundle in Dignitas and FlyQuest with good. Though the Cloud9 obviously, but I think Dig and FlyQuest should be included just because they have all, those two teams have also been playing with really good team synergy, and they have been uh, playing without too much difficulty, I would say. And they look like the strongest competition, at least looking from the rest of what we have so far.
Yeah, they might be the top competition, but I feel like there's still one team that's a class above everybody else so far. But the good thing is we'll find out this weekend. But I think if you were to ask me right now, the only good team for me is Cloud9. But leading to the bad, I feel like there are a couple bad teams. This is just on our scale. I actually don't think they're bad, but like you said, Dig and FlyQuest would be my bad teams, along with Team
Right.
Liquid, just based off the fact that they shouldn't be 2-2 because they have arguably 4 of the best players in North America, and it's kind of blows my mind that they've lost 2 games because they have a weak jungler, they still have maybe the 4 best players in North America, 2 MVPs, a former world's winner and arguably the best mid laner. So I think that's an excuse, and I think once Broxler comes back or Surenfire gets a few more games, that they'll be considered good. And I did they have a 2-0 week this week?
Let me look.
No, they lost to Dig.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
And then beat
Surenfire,
FlyQuest. So
I think Surenfire has been looking better. He looked much better than week 1. And it looks like the team's gelling more with him after they've actually gotten some practice under him. But I definitely think they can't have a lot of excuses considering 4/5 of the roster is still intact. You've made no other changes other than we just got rid of Vic Smithy for another jungler, and we had to play with a sub. You know how most of your team plays. I don't think that you can really blame it a lot on Surefire.
agreed.
At least for me, for bad, I would probably put Team Liquid, 100 Thieves, and TSM in that category. They look okay, but they don't look great. And they've had a lot of issues in some of their games in terms of winning and how they've won. So that's why I'm putting them there.
Yeah, for me, I am giving my ugly to the rest of the 2-2 teams that aren't Team Liquid. So TSM, Immortals, and 100 Thieves. If I did my math correctly, the teams that TSM has beat in their 2 games, they the 4 teams they played, the 2 teams they beat have only won 2 total games this year. Or maybe it's only 1 because CLG was one of their wins, and I think they beat Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, maybe.
So they've only beat bad teams,
Right.
and against the good teams, they've kind of shit the bed. So for me,
That's understandable.
Ugly. I was super low on this team coming in, so I feel a bit vindicated at this point that they've only beat bad teams.
For my ugly, I'm definitely putting Evil Geniuses and Immortals into that basket. Immortals looks just a bad team on paper. They just maybe not a bad team on paper, but their parts just don't look like they fit super well together. Ica is definitely like their biggest issue because he is just not performing well at all. And if he continues to do that, it's kind of the team's own fault. You elected to kind of hire, like, I believe the story is that Zabatine and Ica are friends, so it's kind of you gave a friend a spot out of nepotism rather than picking a more qualified mid laner from America.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about Soaz. Soaz has been playing for a while, and I'm not 100% sold on his play. So that's why Immortals is there. But Evil Geniuses, I think that their roster, I think they should just be doing better than this. You have Svenskeren, you have Kumo, you have Bang, you have Jizuke, you have Zazel, some maybe not, superstars, but you have players that have a lot of experience and have shown, at least at one time or another, huge degrees of talent and success. You should be better than a 1-3 team that looks like they really struggle to get up off the ground. And I think that that's just unacceptable.
Yeah. For my ugly, I have Evil Geniuses, CLG, and Keith support on Golden Guardians. To be honest, if we had if we were to split this up into like maybe 5 categories, I still might put Golden Guardians underneath CLG just because of the meme that Keith is as support.
Instead of our final category being the Dignitas, maybe we should just call it the Keith.
I think we might have to.
Because Dignitas is actually playing fairly well, and they have a fairly good roster.
Keith has the most deaths with 22, meaning he has died almost 6 times per game on average.
So
his KD is 0.6.
I will say, Keith, most of the times in those deaths, Keith was dying to protect his teammates. And I think that as a support player, and from the angle of support play and all that, I think that's at least admirable. At least going down so that your carries and your other means of winning the game can live and maybe not give up some gold. So I think that's at least admirable. But I think that just from the angle of let's get Keith, someone who has never played support before, and to slot him in to that spot just because you didn't see anyone of note available and you didn't want to try to find anybody.
I mean,
I believe the story is they just approached him because they needed a support, and they saw that most of the other kind of popular supports were taken, and they're just like, hey Keith, you want to try support? And he's like, and they're like, perfect, you start Monday.
Yeah, which honestly, I'm looking at some stats right now, and FBI's laning stats really aren't that bad. So Keith is just dying a ton of times in mid game and beyond. FBI has the second highest is CSD at 10, behind Sven. Third highest gold difference at 10. Third highest gold difference at 10 minutes. And his XP is average, but
yeah, I mean, I think FBI is an all right ADC. I've never had a super huge problem with FBI as a player in and of himself, but I think that you're never going to have that much success. I think if you're just paired with Keith in a role that he is not experienced in.
True, it really is a meme.
So I guess talking about our worst ranked team, I think are we in agreement that it's just CLG?
Honestly, I think performing right now, yes, but I think at the end of the split, it's still going to be Golden Guardians.
I think for right now, I have to put CLG at my lowest because this team looks like such a mess. Like Ruin just dies. He elects to kill himself in this game, to the detriment of his other teammates. And you have Wiggly, who has never really impressed me much, even when he was on Cloud9 Academy. He seemed like an alright jungler, but never anyone who was fit to really start over some others. Crown, I think, is the biggest disappointment because it's Crown. He won a world championship. This is a famed mid laner who was just destroying people at Worlds, and he was a highly regarded player. Now reduced to just collecting a paycheck in North America and put out to pasture. And you have Stixay, who I guess is trying to hold the team together, and you have Smoothie, who I assume is just speaking nonstop and cluttering up all the comms and making it even more difficult to coordinate. Bless his heart. I mean, Smoothie at one point was one of the best players in the league, and I still to this day, when he was on Cloud9, I think for that first or second split, he should have been MVP.
Yeah.
but he has fallen off a cliff, and he is just struggling in terms of coordinating the team and making plays and leading and keeping everything together. And it's just a tragedy of what is going on CLG.
I I agree. I think that they might be the worst team right now. I just have a feeling like how can you have Crown and Stixay and Wiggly and still get last place?
Exactly. Like at least in that core, you should at least be doing something in finding some success. Like to just completely do nothing and fail time and time again with an okay core like that. Like that's really bad.
Yeah, we do get a chance to see who is worse this weekend because CLG plays Evil Geniuses at 5 p.m. Eastern
Oh,
Standard
I'm
Time
so
on
excited for that game.
Saturday. So if
I
you
hope it
want to
gets to
watch,
like I hope it gets to like Renegades versus Dignitas level of idiocy.
I mean, if that's the case, I'm tuning in just for that. And taking as many drinks as I can.
Yeah,
I'll
there's
make a
definitely
drinking
that
game on the
possibility.
spot.
Yeah. But we've talked enough about other teams. Let's talk about our own prospects this weekend.
Yeah. Um.
At 8 p.m. Eastern, on Saturday, Cloud9 plays against FlyQuest, and then on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, Cloud9 plays against Dignitas. So I think this is going to be. I think we can 2-0, but it's going to be really tough because FlyQuest and Dignitas both have proven to be competitors, at least after a couple of weeks of play, as well as they seem to understand the meta and what's going on. They seem to be one of the more coordinated teams, and I think that it's going to be tough. Um, and we're definitely going to have to see how we play around FlyQuest and Dignitas, to pull out a win.
Yeah. I agree. Um. I think this week is gonna have a lot to do, or is gonna have a lot of effect on my rankings at the top. I think if Cloud9 goes 1-1, they still are considered the best team.
Yeah,
But if they were to drop both, I think I would have to drop them down.
I would too. I would probably expect a lot of play in the top lane because Viper and Huni are both players that their respective teams play heavily around. So I'm definitely I'm definitely gonna expect a lot of play in the top lane. Um I think also, I guess as a counterpoint, Blabber could spend a lot of time bot lane considering, Grig and Santorn are probably gonna try to spend a lot in the top half of the map.
Yeah, and I I think if the play is focused around one or two lanes, then I think that gives us an advantage just based off the fact that we have been so strong all around the map, and that it doesn't really matter where we play around. That we're just gonna beat you no matter
Right.
what, and that's kind of how
Right.
I feel about it. I'm not in love with either FlyQuest or Dig, but they do have a solid roster on both sides. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I,
think
I agree.
I I think these teams are exploitable though. Froggen has his faults. Phoenix has his faults. Grig is nothing special. So the dig game I feel confident on. Aframoose is nothing special, and they're really not an exemplary team at this point, in my opinion. Just based off average game time, they don't. They have. Talking about dig, right? Their average game time is 35.6 minutes, while ours is 30.1. And honestly, I feel like ours should be below 30. But I think I'm more worried about FlyQuest, to be honest.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Is it just in how they play or?
I just think that they have a better roster built around the map to play and
Right. I can see
keep up with
that.
us. Ignar is really good as a support. Viper is solid, and they don't put all their eggs in one basket. So I don't know if they can beat us, though. I just feel like we are a notch above them in every position.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. I think for sure we can probably expect a few target bans coming out. I would really like to see us just ban out Riven for Viper, just just because it's such a it's like a pick that he can go in on and pull it out and actually crush people. Um, I think also maybe banning out Anivia from Froggen just because it's it's a situation of if it's relevant enough, he will play it, and that's like literally his champion. Maybe also I'd assume we'd ban Rumble since Rumble's pretty meta right now. That would be a
Yeah,
good situation
I'm
for Uni.
I'm still sad that we don't have a legit Rumble player.
Yeah, that was some time ago.
I'm still sad about that. Rip balls.
But I guess what are your predictions for this weekend?
I think the odds are in our favor to go 2-0, and I think that we are the better team in both of these matchups. So I'm gonna go with a 2-0. But
I'm gonna say 2-0, possibly 1-1. I don't think that we can lose both. I think at worst we'll lose one of them, but if we can go 2-0, that'll be great, and that'll be really good for us in terms of just establishing our position within the LCS.
yeah, and I'm worried that at some point we're gonna drop a game because we kind of have to.
No, yeah, I mean you
And
definitely have to prepare for that eventuality. I would say even it's better to lose now than later on in the split because that way, if we lose now, we have so much time to like work on problems and make sure that we at least don't lose in that way again.
yeah, and I feel like both of these teams that we're playing this weekend are pretty good at snowballing a lead. And at some point, you know that Blabber or Licorice is going to do something dumb. So or 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 Niski is going to pull out Insky and do something stupid that's going to cause a game to snowball
Yeah.
out of control at some point. So um, while I feel like that could happen against anyone, I'm not sure it's going to happen this week because I think they're going to be fired up, and it's normally when that happens, it's against lower teams. So I think I'm relatively confident.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to see then. But I have nothing else to say. So,
Yep, I think that's about it.
all
So
right. Well, thank you so much for listening, one and all. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at C9 Bodied, and we'll see you again next time.
go C9. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.